Welcome to RPG Corner. Tonight we're going to look at the action RPG Terranigma, a story of light and dark, a story about the resurrection of the life of the world, or perhaps a personal journey of a boy's young curiosity that triggers events that reshapes everything. Terranigma is an action RPG that was released in 1995 by Quintet, and the publisher was Enix. It was never released in North America, and apparently they finished the translation, but Enix closed its US office before it was ever released. I ran into the game sometime around 2005. I don't recall when I first played it, though. However, it made a good impression with the story and gameplay and music. Recently, I thought I'd replay it, and it takes about 17 to 18 hours, so it's doable but long. I'd like to share more RPGs that I've played, but it's a challenge. They're quite lengthy. But let's take a look at the story, as that's a critical component for a good RPG. The opening sequence shows the time and the cycle of the planet. The sequence then dissolves into a dream for Ark, our player character. Ark lives in a small town, Chrysla. This magical place is kind of a place where time seems to have almost stopped. However, all this changes when Ark opens a mysterious door that the town elder warns against. This door leads to a box, and inside the box is Yomi. It's kind of a weird creature that sets Ark on a journey that takes him on a quest to restore the Earth. The townspeople are all frozen except for the Elder, who directs Ark to the 5 towers of the underworld. In each tower, Ark winds his way to the top and fights and solves more difficult challenges. Every time he reaches the top of the towers, there's a crystal, and that crystal restores a set of people of the town, and also restores a landmass on the surface of the world. Besides the towers, there's a few secret areas to restore islands, and an optional area of the map. After the towers, the Elder sends Ark down an abyss to the surface world, and a charge to restore and guide the world's development. In this mixed, there's a love story between Ark and Ellie, a weaver in the town of Chrysla. Ellie knows that she won't see Ark for a long time, and she struggles with that. When Ark comes to, he finds himself on the surface world. It's bright and sunny. So he first restores the plants, then the birds, then the animals, and lastly, he restores the humans. After the humans are restored, Ark was in a coma for 3 years, and now the world has changed. Ark helps the human world progress, and along the way he runs into a young girl named Merlin. Merlin has the ability to create illusions, and Ark gets caught up in one of those illusions about a ghost town that's full of zombies. Merlin's a character that shows up fairly frequently as she follows Ark around. And in Ark's travels, he also runs into Ellie, a lookalike from the Ellie that Ark knows, but she's mute. The reason why she's mute kind of details with the tragedy that she experienced when she was young. Her parents and the town people were killed protecting a treasure from the king. Ark, with the help of Merlin, restores Ellie's voice and destroys the reputation of the king. After leaving that mess, Ark hears of a great navigator of the seas locked up in a haunted castle. Since the boat would be great to have, Ark rescues this great navigator called Columbus, and he now travels to the Freedom Town across the ocean. The world continues to progress, and the towns grow as Ark works to help the people. Ark makes new friends. One of those friends builds an airplane, and this airplane allows Ark to travel to the land of a person named Dr. Bergra. And now Dr. Bergra has been in hibernation for a long time, before the Earth's restoration. And Bergra has a creepy set of followers, and the story reveals the fact that Berger created a cure for a virus that was killing the people. However, he didn't have enough to save everyone, so he wanted to create a whole new society. Now, Ark has a battle with Berger, and he's severely injured. Ark blacks out, and the Elder says his job's done. He can now die. At this point, Ark realizes the Elder's Dark Gaia. However, his light side counterpart brings Ark back to the Wiseman town in the Tibetan area. Ark's next task is to get the Star Stones, so the legendary hero can be born. With the stones in hand, Ark goes to the place of the skulls. The light side Ark appears to explain what's needed to be reborn, as a combination of both the light and the dark sides of Ark. This part of the story is a bit strange, but Ark is reborn into Stockholm. As a baby, the dark side Ellie comes and takes the baby away to kill him. With the dark side, Yomi says Ark is a threat to Christus, and so Ellie hesitates, and Yomi tries to kill Ark, but is thwarted by Dark Ellie, both of which die. Now, Yomi's replaced by the light side Yomi. However, it's hard to believe Yomi after this. Ark regrows into adult, and is now given the treasures of the town, the hero armor and the hero spear, which is Ark's weapon of choice. With the new weapons and a group of familiar friends, Ark chases Dr. Berger and takes out the lab and following Berger on his airship. The team decides to blow up the Dr. Berger's ship and prevent Berger from using the virus to destroy the world. As the airship blows up, Ark escapes and jumps down a cliff into Australia. He's got those strong legs. As far as Ark's friends, well, Ark has other concerns. It was time to face Dark Gaia, back in the underworld. So it's back to the abyss, and time to confront the Elder. The battle's fierce, but Ark prevails, and Dark Gaia is no more. However, the underworld is now fading. Ark's given one more day in crystals. For the townsfolk, it's just another day, but for Ark, he knows it's his last. Ark goes to sleep for one last time, and as he falls asleep, he has one last dream. In the dream, he is a flying bird, watching the world evolve over time. After the credits, yes, there's a post-credit scene in 1995. The light side Ellie is at her home in Stockholm, and there's a knock at the door. She answers it, and then the game fades out. I rate the story an A. It's very detailed and engaging, with good characters and plenty of depth. Now let's look at the gameplay. So what about the gameplay? Well, being an action RPG, the gameplay is fast and the battles are quite quick. The level ups are generally reasonable, however there's times when there's a need to grind for money or experience. Luckily these aren't too frequent, and as long as you're kind of constantly fighting enemies, you should be pretty good. The character is pretty maneuverable, however there's some enemies that are hard to hit. At times the hit detection is a little rough. There are several puzzles in the game. Most you can figure out, some are quite difficult. Like you have to trigger the right stuff in the castle in Spain. Also, getting through the desert maze is tricky to avoid getting lost. And there's a couple of run-ins where you have to jump spots that if you miss, then you miss them. No shame in using the guide when lost. Some towns' expansions are hard to trigger, and some don't trigger at all, despite doing all the quests. As far as the items are concerned, the hills are okay, but at some point they don't fill up much, and so you're just draining them all out. Also, you almost never use magic rock items or pins. I found the magic rings worthless. You can't use them on boss. The pins have limitations. However, I picked them up along the way and the magic rocks regardless. But you can get away without using them at all. The bosses can be quite annoying, mainly the two birds, because they can blow you off the cliff, then you have to start it over again. I had to do that a few times. Despite some annoyances, the game is generally fun to play. I rated a B. The music is great, with some memorable tunes, like the Crystals tune and the restoration of the Earth Song. There's also some great specialty tunes sung by the birds and the plants. The songs set the tone of the game, and I don't recall any of them being too annoying. Even the legendary Yukiso Kurosho from the Streets of Rage series added music for the lab area. I rate it an S. The graphics are all well done. They have great environments, interesting enemies. The character animations are also really good. The game also features nice cinematics and storytelling. And the game uses a heavy use of Mode 7 to travel the world, and kind of the bird and the plane flight. They use it to great effect. Kind of makes the world feel round, not flat. I rated an A. Its unique styling makes it some of the best for the SNES. This is an interesting RPG about light and dark, and I found the fact that you start off in the underworld as a dark character very different choice than most games, where you usually start on the surface, then travel the underworld. The ending bit with having the hero player character die off is one of the best story plots I've seen in an RPG. Really felt for Ark as he had his kind of final goodbyes to the townsfolk. Years ago, I faced a similar situation at work where I knew the company was done, but I couldn't say anything. I watched as fellow employees treated it just as another day. I'll work on that report tomorrow. And I'd say yes, that'd be fine. But there was no tomorrow. Terranigma. It's a great RPG. Frustrating at times, but one that sticks with you over the years. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.